In your campaign biography, you talk about managing staffs ranging from 10 people to 230 and running budgets up to and including $38 billion. And you specifically cite your skills in, I quote, strategic planning, procurement and acquisition processes, budgeting, accountability, policy development, and implementation. What do you think you'll be able to transfer directly from your federal experience when you were working as part of a large federal bureaucracy where generally you didn't have to worry about meeting payroll or where your budget dollars would be coming from? What do you can you translate directly from your prior experience, and what do you have to learn from scratch?
Well, first I'll have to say to you that that statement was not completely accurate, because I've been in the government where we had shutdowns because we couldn't meet payroll.
Okay.
So I've been there before. And we've worked with many continuing resolutions that restricted our abilities to expend funds. So I know about management when it comes to funding, and then I know about procurement and restrictions that we have on discretionary spending when there's a CR or a continuing resolution. I think that directly I can transfer just about everything that I've done. Because I've always been in the operations and administrative field. So that means where the rubber meets the road. We're the ones that run the city, for instance. We're the ones that make sure the lights are on. We're the ones that make sure the facilities are straight. We're the ones that take care of the procurement actions. And we match the budget line items to the actual acquisition that's going on. We handle personnel. We handle the information technology. We take care of all the logistics, security, classified informations, and on and on and on. So everything that I've done, whether it was in my military career or in my federal career, directly correlates to what's happening here in the city. I think it's a fallacy to say that my experience would not be continued here or relevant here in the city, especially in a city that's been so dysfunctional like 24 years like this administration has been.
Have you had experience in your career to date of having to lobby and advocate in favor of your programs? Have you had to go sit in congressional committees as you would with both the state legislature here, the governor's office, and as well as all of the agencies in Washington we'd have to deal with? Are you an infighter?
Well, I'm definitely a fighter. I don't know if I'm always in. But I am a fighter, and of course we have to justify our budget all the time. That's the problem with the federal government, that they have a one-year budget. I wish it was a 3-year budget, you know. Mm-hmm. Then that way you get some programs off the ground, especially when they're near and dear to your heart, and you can see the true enhancements of services that you have. But of course, we have to lobby, we have to fight all the time. If you're a senior executive and I'm a senior executive and there's a budget cut, we need to come in and justify why we need that money. We need to demonstrate the impact of why or what would be happening if we don't get it. What are the cascading effects of losing that program or that funding? So yes, absolutely. You know, and then especially when I worked at the National Science Foundation or the National Institute of Health, where they're conducting some very serious work for the nation, and I'm running administration, and they're saying, well, you know, we might not need this or that, and then I have to tell them, well, you know, you won't be able to achieve this if you remove that, right? So there is some comparative discussions that go on, and true lobbying, and a real fight that goes on when it comes to money and budgeting. So I have a little bit of experience here.
Okay. This is your first political campaign
yes,
as a candidate. Is it everything you expected it to be, or is it more or less? What's been your biggest revelation on the campaign trail over the last couple of months?
Well, I think I was telling our group of intelligent, strategic thinkers today that I had a different life in Alexandria, but I've never been happier. It's exactly what I wanted. This is where I want to be, and it's the right time for me to be here. So I'm really happy at what I'm doing right now.
You've received several endorsements for your candidacy from many individuals in the city as well as groups. Before the May election, you held a public event announcing the endorsement of former school board president Toby Sanders. In his announcement, he made it sound as if he had selected you and endorsed you after a long and considered examination of all of the candidates. That may in fact be true, but he is also a relative of yours by marriage. His wife, Leslie Sanders, is your niece, and press reports say that she helped shape your education policy. In the interest of full disclosure, shouldn't you or Mr. Sanders have disclosed those ties?
Well, here's what I would say. I have 15 brothers and sisters. I'm number 11 of 15. Mm-hmm. And that family has now multiplied 3 or 4 times, right? So I have family and relatives throughout the city in different locations and in different positions of authority or leadership. So you're going to see more of this. You're going to find out, hey, you know what, he's related to that one, he's related to that one. In Toby's endorsement of me, I know that it was a long time where he had to study me. He really had to come to grips whether or not he wanted to make this endorsement. I remember when I first came and announced, he was actually working for James G., who was a candidate at that time. He was probably one of the first guys to start looking at the possibilities of becoming the next mayor of this city. And it wasn't as easy as I'm family, I'm going to give you this endorsement. In fact, my team had to search him down and corner him and talk to him and explain to him.
Even with his wife
Even with his
platform?
wife contributing to my platform. My wife, for the record, is Leslie Sanders, and she's a teacher at Hedgepeth Williams. She's actually in charge of the learning center there. And, her mother is very close to me, so her mother's always in my home and helping me with the campaign. So Leslie would come once in a while. But none of that crossed into just because we're family, we're going to do this. We're not that kind of family.
I asked that because obviously in the previous administration, the connections of the mayor with members of his family inside various departments of city government was painful.
Right. No.
And
I
I
understand.
think most Trenton voters would like to be assured that this is not going to be repeated.
Right. Well, here's what I tell everyone that comes near my campaign. Just because you're helping me in my campaign does not guarantee you a job. I have 16,000 people that I need to be concerned with who are currently unemployed in the city. And what we need to promise to our people is that we're going to hire the best of the best. Because of what's going on with the city right now, we have to work under what I call a 90-day plan, which is if you're currently in your position, you're going to have 90 days to understand what my expectations, values, and standards, and how we're going to measure that performance. But then if it's time for you to move on, then we're going to conduct a search where we're going to find the best qualified individual to have that job. No nepotism, no cronyism is going to be happening in our office.
Okay. Most current members and prospective future members of the city council have endorsed your opponent. How do you anticipate being able to work with them if you're elected mayor?
Well, again, that's a great question because knowing my background, you see that I've had many years of experience, and I've also had the blessings of go up the chain and work in different positions of authority and leadership and experience. And what I would always say to people is I had the ability to go in and work with people that I didn't know because what they were looking for was leadership. And what's missing in City Hall is leadership. Even when you're in the military, you go through a promotion board and you don't always get promoted. And the guy that you least expect might get promoted. But when I put the rank on, I still become your superior officer, but leader first. And the same thing here in this situation. Just because they made a selection right now because of whatever it might be, familiarity or part of a machine or whatever they want to call themselves, it's okay. It's okay. Change can still happen because we will come in and we will welcome them on our team. And what we'll do is we'll talk to them just like everybody else. Here's our expectations of you. What are your expectations of us? And then we will work together. I think what was really missing in City Hall was a professional administration that was thorough in their research, that was timely in putting information out to people, and that truly understood what implementation was all about. When you do that and you present a packet to City Council, it requires less work on their part, and it gives and creates that transparency that we're talking about, where people can clearly see what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And it's always got to be to the benefit of the people. When we do that, I don't think we're going to have an issue working with anyone.
Okay. And finally, thanks for coming here this evening and sitting. It's days before the election.
Right.
What's your closing argument? What's your close?
My closing argument is that we truly provide the city the best opportunity for change. This election is in no way about race. This election is about character. This election is about honesty. This election is about transparency. This election is about accountability. It's about creating responsible government and including the people that we're supposed to be serving, not isolating ourselves away from the people and being exclusive, which is what we've seen for the past 24 years. When you look at that, and when you look at our background, and you start to see the picture become clear of who stands behind us, you will see that we've put together a strong team of dedicated professionals who are ready to help me and those who live within the city limits of Trenton to go into a new direction.
Okay. Thanks for coming here tonight, Mr. Perez. Next Tuesday, June 10th, polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. for Trenton's mayoral runoff election. Thanks very much. I'm Kevin Moriarty.